Well, hello, my name's Penny. I live in the southeast of England with my husband Pete and my 3 chickens. And this is Penelope's Chinwag, where I show you what I've made during the week. I tell you what I've been thinking about, really. My brain doesn't often stop. I always say I live 2 lives. One where I'm asleep, but I might as well be awake because my brain never stops. And one during the day. So I'll show you what I've made. And yeah, just catch up on things. I said I'd have to do a little chat about anxiety. Last week it was what's the difference between stress and worry and anxiety? And we looked at stress and worry, and so I thought this week we'd look at anxiety. So let's get started. I've got my great grandson's woolly knitted. I decided to knit him a little Aran sweater, and I'm so pleased with it. I think I'll knit Tommy one too. If you're new here, Tommy's my great grandson and he's 14 months old, and George is my newest great grandson. Well, I've only got 2, and he was born on the 6th of Feb. I did do a video last week catching up on things. Or actually it was the week before last, because last week I didn't feel well again. Yeah, that germ that I had at the beginning of the year, well, it just came back, that's all I can say. But I'm glad to say I rested and I'm feeling a lot more like myself again. So, yes, I did a bit of a catch up. So the previous episode would tell you who I am, who my family is and all of that. But yeah. I hope you understand who we are. It's very difficult doing these YouTubes because you feel like you should be talking to new viewers, but really viewers have been watching for a long time. So just welcome to everybody. There is a playlist if you'd like to catch up, and I know some of you are, and what comments I've been having. Such beautiful, heartfelt, shared comments. So thank you so much. They mean a lot. I read them to Pete and I share them with friends. I know my latest one said how much she appreciated the poem, so that went off to Heather, and that was lovely to share. I know a lot of you watched the video I made of, how I make my little creatures over there, Louisa Crowther, and yes. Anyway, here's the jumper. Waffle, waffle. It's a little Aran one. The pattern is this pattern. Super soft Aran. I don't think I knitted it in that. I knitted it in something I got in my local wool shop. But it's a Serdar pattern. And this pattern is birth to 7 years. And I'm so pleased because I know I'm going to knit this time after time after time. What a beautiful Aran pattern it is. So yes, of course, I've knitted one for George, but Tommy wants one. So lovely detailed stitch on it. And this size is 0 to 6 months. So I think that'll be nice. And the next size up is, what's the next size? Let me tell you. Here we are. The next size is 6 to 12 months. 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, and 6 to 7. So I'm going to knit Tommy's in 1 to 2 years. So I'll show you that when that's done. But I'm knitting one for his mum where I got stuck on the collar, and normally I knit things and finish them, but I couldn't do that because I had a bit of brain fog. And so my next job before anything else is to do finish Lois's jumper. So I hope to show you that next time. But here we are. Here's the little Aran. So I'm pleased with that, and I'll put all the details on the screen. So that kept me quiet whilst I was resting. And then I've been doing another journal. Well, I've learnt quite a lot about these journals. Because I was most adamant at first it's not a junk journal. What does junk journal mean? Well, looking it up, it means really making a journal out of things that people throw away. So in a way, that's what I've done, because I would have parted with a few of my books from my mum and dad's, clearing their shelves. And well, I got something through the post this week and thought, well, that'll do for my journal. And it was a David, what's his name? Oh, you see this brain fog, doesn't it? Get you down. David Austin roses in the UK, and they're beautiful. And yes, we've bought some in the past, and they've sent us their little book, their 2023 book. Oh, I said that'll do for my journals. So I would call them memory books. Here we go again. Memory books, photograph books, pleasure books, treasure books, journals, junk journals. Well, I don't think really they need a name, but that's really where the name junk journal came from. Not to put a load of junk in there, but because you're using things from here and there, things you've collected, let's put it like that. And now I've stumbled into this world that I didn't mean to, and we've got other words, ephemera. Well, what's ephemera? People talk about ephemera on their YouTube channels. Well, ephemera is anything really you make to go in your journal, right? Burnish it down. Well, if you don't burnish double-sided sticky tape, it won't stick. It sticks for a little while, but when you're putting a lot in it, it might be all right for a card, but it comes unstuck. And Shelley Geigel does suggest putting glue on top of double-sided tape as well. But you have to burnish it down. So when you stick the tape on, burnish it, really rub it. And that way you're getting rid of any air pockets that could get in there that could cause it to lift. When you score something and make a line so that you can fold it under, you score it along, and it comes with, well, I would call it a scorer, but no, in this world they call it a bone folder. And it's very handy for when you turn a page and you can use a piece of plastic. You can use it to, make that fold sharp, and use your bone folder to burnish things down. That's what I've learned. I now make pockets with 1/4 inch turn. That means you can get quite a bit in there. It also means that Pete can get things in and out. But because with banana fingers, or, big size fingers, it's all right for me. I can get things in and out, but he needs a good amount to be able to maneuver. So I do 1/4 inch all the way round. I'll show you that in a minute. So yes, ephemera is, signature. Well, signature, I wonder, what are they talking about, signature? But when you look in a book, all the pages, say they're like that, they're sewn in between there, and they're sewn into the spine. Then they'll fold another lot, sew them through, and that's how the book is made. These are called signatures. So maybe you might say, well, in my journal that I'm going to make, I'm going to put 4 signatures. That will mean four groups of pages that you sew in, or maybe just put an elastic band round. Whatever way you hold it, that will be then making up your journal. So that's a signature. And ephemera, as I said, is anything you gather together. I showed you this before. I got this idea from Julie. I know a lot of you watch Julie. And here we've got, the envelope in there, and this is ephemera. This is ephemera. And you can journal on the back and all of that. That's going to go into my next journal. This is what I made for the journal I'm going to show you. 5 squares stuck together. You mount them on card, and then you do 1/4 inch, fold your 1/4 inch round, just glue it down there, and then stick it to your page along there. I made that too small. Shelley Geigel told me how to make this. So, well, that's who I followed for my lap book and my folio. What's the difference? A lap book folds in to meet each other. So the one I showed you last week, this one, this all folds out and it folds in to meet each other. But the one I've made this week is a folio. It opens like a normal book. Now let me get on and show you then. Now I made this one and I showed you last week, and this is just made of papers. I liked it. I liked it very much. But I felt with Pete, Pete said, show me, got hold of it. Yes, opened it, flippy flappy. I thought, I just spent ages sticking that together. I said, be careful, it's just paper. Oh, righty-ho. And then I thought, well, perhaps I ought to make one with a sturdy. So that's what I've done. I've made this one. And this is a folio because it opens like a book, you can see. And I made it out of, it's chipboard, that's the word. I've been trying to think of it. Chipboard. So you cover chipboard and then you cover it all. Let me see if I can show you. What page can I show you? Yes. So you get the chipboard, cover it on the outside, cover it all round, fold it round, make a nice, and then you stick page 1 on the front, all your different pages inside, right the way through. But first of all, make the cover from chipboard, which you've covered. Shelley Geigel tells you, people have sent me lovely messages. Could you tell us? I'm a new girl here. Could you tell us how you made it? Well, I follow someone else. And with this, it's Shelley. And with this one, it was Shelley. And so one's a lap book, one's a folio. So I'm just going to pop upstairs, and I can't open this all out because everything will fall out. But I'm just going to show you with it flat on my table in my little crafty corner, and I'll show you each bit. So I'll pop back after that. There's the spine. It's a bit awkward to show you, and there's the back. So let's get on to show you. Page 1. A magnet holds these 2 down, and I think we've got 150 photographs in this. So these 2 open up, and Peter had his own cafe, and it was 71, I think 72, and it was the time for Peter's boutique. He did the most delicious meals, and everything was beautiful in Tottenham. But you've got to go some to make a living out of cooking like you used to do at the beautiful hotels he worked in and restaurants, to opening your own cafe. It didn't really work, let's put it like that. Anyway, he's got all his, these are all his family photos in here. Not all of them, but a goodly amount. So that does up with that. Second page, another magnet. It's got to be a magnet to hold it in. I haven't covered this magnet because I wanted it to be really strong, but I think they are really strong, so I might just put a little slip over and cover it. Here you've got, let's take those out for a minute, a full page to put big photographs in. Here I've got a pocket. I just use some, as I said I would, some papers out of a nature book. Again, little mouse, papers out of a nature book. Envelope here I made with lots of photos in. That's got a magnet too. I just covered it up. I haven't really got supplies, if you know what I mean. So I just had this washi tape and used that. It does me, Here we've got Pete when he was young. And Pete's dad as a twin. He lost his twin when he was 14. So that holds just nice large photographs with 2 pockets either side, and then does up well with the magnet. Coming over to page 3, another magnet again, and photographs in here. Now, I took this from Shelley Geigel, and she just makes a little opening with Pete's fingers. There's no way Pete can get things in and out. They've got to be made, with space that he can easily do it. So that's got a nice bit of room in it, which is how I make the pockets now. I didn't at first, and then room for more photographs behind. Yeah. I think that's Pete's best man on the wedding day. The next page, a good magnet again. Reminiscing for Mum because she loved her music, her piano, her singing, and Dad absolutely loved his clocks. So I used those 2 bits of paper together. I thought they were nice. Hope you can see that. Music and clocks. So a good flippy flappy there that you can flip a lot of photos behind. Another little one there. A pocket here. Popping loads of stuff in. I think these were all when he was, leaning on a lamp. No, not a lamp post, but leaning up against a wall. A cool dude with his sunglasses on. So that's that one. Another. There's so much in here, isn't there? This I took from a nature book. And I've got 3, these again from a nature book. A letter from the granddaughter thanking for a lovely day out. I've just popped things in here. Photograph, and then I think some right at the top here, yeah. So that's 3 pockets. Another pocket. I use this from my dad's book because he loved fuchsias. I've got a whole book, several books on fuchsias, so I thought that made excellent papers. This I was pleased with. 5 little squares stuck together, little bit across. Put it on a pocket so you've got the 1/4 of an inch so that you've got room behind, and then you can flip your photos behind. So I like that one. I think I should do that more. It's nice to take, all different sizes of photographs, really. I mean, that would fit in there nicely. Yeah, there's just room in everything. And then the owl goes on the top. And then the last page, again, I used a nature book, magnet, nature book for the pocket, pockets here, all is different. With his chums when he was young. There he is, always climbing about. And then how many have I got in here, plus other things? You can see just so many. I think we've got 150 photographs in there. Well, I hope you enjoy seeing that journal. I enjoyed making it, and I'm going to make another one because the last two have, well, Pete's photos have been in there, but I want to put my own ones in, so I'm going to do one for myself. Well, I should probably do a couple. I've decided that I'm going to, as I'm, quilter and like to make, quilts. I've decided that I'm going to do a fabric cover. I'm not going to follow anybody else. I'm going to make it up myself. So watch this space. I'll either be successful or I won't. I've got to try. So I'm going to make the innards first, see what size I want it, and then I'm going to make the cover afterwards. So yeah, I can't wait to get started really. And I'm not going to rush myself, so I'm going to take it slowly. I always say that, but I never do because I can't wait to, it's like if you're a crafter, get it all out and get stuck in. Are you like that? I just thought I'd talk a little bit about anxiety. Last time I talked about what's the difference between stress and worry. When you think about being anxious, your heart, it really feels weighed down, doesn't it? It takes a bit of lifting up when you've got anxiety. It's a lot heavier than a bit of worry or a bit of stress. Anxiety, it's a good word cheers it up, doesn't it? Sometimes I've felt anxious and then I've been with friends and, had a good old chat and somehow the anxiety's dissipated. So being with friends, having a good old chat, that can really help lift the heart, can't it? And I think that's why during lockdown and everything, a lot of people felt anxious, regardless of the pandemic. We couldn't be with the people we love, could we? Something to think about with anxiety is that the things we're feeling anxious about may be unwarranted. They may not happen. That's the thing with anxiety. We talked last week about having a worry. I've got a bit of a worry. I've got to fill that form in from the solicitor. He's asked me to do it twice. I'll do it this morning. That worry's gone. Anxiety is usually different. Anxiety, it's often about things that may not happen. We might feel uneasy. We might feel nervous. That's not really how I felt about that form that I wasn't filling in, that worry I had that was sitting there. I can often get that done. But anxiety often is about something that, it might happen, it may happen. You never know. You can't say it won't. People who suffer from anxiety, it's quite often difficult to talk them out of it. They have to find their own way out of it. Even though there's little or nothing to provoke the anxiety, that person really felt it very, very strongly and went through the day filled with exaggerated worries. It's often a disaster that's anticipated. Just the thought of the day can produce anxiety. And the difference here is we can't really do anything about it. With that worry about the form, I could do it. In fact, I did it this morning. I've filled the form out. It's there ready to take round to the solicitor. My mind races when I think about how a stressful situation could turn out. So we might be feeling that stress, but if we're feeling anxious about it, then it's about how that could turn out. He's there. Oh, lovely. Lovely. He's just told me we got newts in the pond and he's just counted them. Because I think I put up a little video of the, what's it called? You see, he's put me right off my stroke now. Little egret. Yeah, going fishing in the pond. And the crows do and yeah, and the magpies, but he's just seen that we got 6 newts. So that's just what he's seen. So yeah, it's like a rocking chair, anxiety. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. That's interesting, isn't it? Because if we have a worry and the worry starts to go round in our head, it can get you somewhere because we can decide to act and do something about the worry. But often anxiety, it's very hard to do something about it. Yeah, because it's often a might. It makes little sense to take on tomorrow's problems, some of which may never even become a reality. My husband, Pete, he had an anxiety, the gas bill. So we stopped using our gas cooker and we got an air fryer. In fact, we got 2 because we like to cook. He likes to cook. He was a chef. Yeah, we've got 2 and we use both of them. Our gas bill has gone down £100 a month. He's through to bits. So that anxiety got him nowhere because he couldn't work out the gas bill in advance. He had to wait because until that time had passed, and he found out what he could do was alleviate the worry. The worry said, well, let's get a couple of air fryers, let's use those. But the anxiety around it all, he had to let go of that because it was about the future. So the best we can do is prepare for situations to the extent possible, but accept the fact that some situations are out of our control. So we did what we could, and then we left it there. Because sometimes we can't change our circumstances, but we can change the way we view them. So it's about putting anxiety into the right perspective, and then we're less likely to be overwhelmed by them. And maybe next time I can tell you about some ways that might be practical, what you can say to yourself to help you alleviate that anxiety. So that's my little episode for this week, just to show you my journal, my sweater, to say hello to you all, to welcome all my new viewers, and I'll see you next time. I haven't been doing much. I've been in my jimmy jams. I've been knitting and journaling and resting. And so my little film this week, I usually try and, I've always done a little film at the end. My little film this week was the day before I started to feel poorly, and it's called Waiting for the Tide to Come In. And we always have turnstones down there. And a turnstone is a little bird. He's a little bird that scurries along. He's got quite a wingspan, actually, when he opens his wings. But what he's called a turnstone because he turns all the little shells over, all the seaweed over, and when the tide's out, he's out there on the rocks. But with the tide coming in, he goes up to the sea wall for as long as he can, and then the sea wall gets enveloped with the tide, and then he goes round to the big bay in Broadstairs, and he spends his time there until the tide starts going out. So my little film this week is called Waiting for the Tide to Come In. So I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a good time crafting if you're a crafter. If you're just someone who listens and watches, then thank you for joining me. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.